Hello, friends. I have some books here that I want to talk about. These are the books that I plan to read in November, my November TBR. I'm transitioning quite a bit out of the horror genre and more so into lighthearted fantasy at times a little bit, and romance, things like that. Just books that are a little bit lighter for November. This is typically around the time where I start getting into a book slump, so I'm trying to go easy on myself and make sure that I'm reading fun books and not getting myself into a deep book slump. So I have 4 books here that I'm going to be I plan on reading in November, and let's go ahead and talk about them. So the first book I have here is The Devil She Knows. This is about a woman who is down on her luck, isn't doing too great, getting, I believe, evicted, losing her job. Just life sucks. And she ends up meeting this woman who claims to be a demon. And she's witty and pretty and not the song. Pretty and witty and gay. And that's exactly what she is, from the sounds of it. So seems like a really just fun, sexy, cute little story about getting wishes from the devil, and you know how that typically goes. Not well. So I'm excited to read about this and see how this goes. Pretty short, fun little romance read, nothing too serious, and I am excited. Now, the next one is also a bit of a romance and also unserious, and that is The Underachiever's Guide to Love and Saving the World. It is about these 2 neighbors who are enemies. They hate each other, but they also love each other, and they end up getting sucked up into this fantasy world where it starts taking over the real world. Think zombies, dragons, ghosts, all sorts of mythical creatures that they have to they have to work together to fight and save the world. So this one I'm really excited for. I started it last night, and so far it's really funny. It starts off with them meeting each other and just playing pranks on each other and really giving each other a lot of attitude. Really fun time so far, so I'm really excited to get into this one. I think it's gonna be just a silly fun time, and I'm excited for it. Now, the next one, Colin gets promoted and dooms the world. This is about a man who works in this corporate hellscape of sorts, and he's about to be terminated from the job, terminated, and he ends up making a deal with possibly the devil, I'm not quite sure, and to basically keep his job and his life. Hearing things are going terribly wrong, and it's up to him to save the world and get a promotion. So I feel like this is perfect for the transitionary period between October and December. I feel like this is a great transitionary story. So I have really high hopes for this one, and that it's going to be really funny. And it says here, warning, under no circumstances must employees strike a deal with unauthorized personnel on Dark Enterprises property. Such behavior may result in death or the end of the world. Count me in. I'm so down. So there's that one. And then I have one more, and this is a big feat. This is a possibility. Hopefully, I'm hoping to get to it, but it's also quite intimidating. And that is 11/22/63. I feel like it's only right to read this book in November since it's set in November. I feel like this is the time to read this story. This is a Stephen King novel, of course, and I have never read Stephen King before. I've always just been too intimidated. He has too many options. Where do I start? Do I start with his horrors or the thrillers or things like this, where it's kind of in between? I'm not sure. So I finally decided I will start here. This book is raved about everywhere. I have a friend who is also planning on reading it as well, and that just kind of hit the nail on the coffin for me. I was like, this is going to be a really good option for me. I watched the short series based on this book. It came out, I think, back in like 2016, and I think it had one of the Franco brothers in it as well. And it was really good. I had a really fun time with the story. Me and my husband loved the show. And so I feel like this is, although intimidating, I think I'm really going to have a great time with it and enjoy it. And it'll be my first Stephen King novel. And it's a thick boy. A very thick boy. If you don't already know, it's a time travel story about attempting to prevent the JFK assassination by going through a time travel portal in order to stop the events from taking place. And so you're following along with our protagonist, who is looking into what happened with the JFK assassination, like following along with the story and trying to insert himself in ways to prevent this from happening, which would obviously cause some sort like a crazy butterfly effect in the long run. So really interesting plot, and I think I'm really gonna enjoy this. It would be awesome to start it exactly on November 22nd, but I will not hold myself to that standard if I'm in the middle of another book. But I'm a huge like mood reader, so I get easily like distracted with different stories and books and put things down and pick something else up instead. So I gave myself a pretty short list for November. One huge thick boy and like 3 little short story books. So this gives me some space and some room to like add in others if I decide that I want to switch lanes and get a different book instead. Like I said, this is typically around the time where I start to get kind of in a reading slump near the end of the year with all the holidays coming up and whatnot. So yeah, I'm excited to get into these. And also I plan this month, we're in November, I do plan on going book shopping for some Christmas books. I've never read a Christmas themed holiday book before, and so I want to get a few to read at like end of November into December, because I think that would also help ensure that I don't get in a book slump around this time, is if I have something very like holiday specific. I love Christmas and like Christmas movies and music, and so I think getting quite a few like maybe some holiday romances or like a holiday mystery will really keep me engaged for December and engaged in reading. So those are the plans, and I will have a video of shopping for Christmas books and reading Christmas books later on, so stay tuned for that. But definitely let me know if you have any recommendations for Christmas books, or just let me know what you're reading in November. I'd love to see what y'all are reading this November, and yeah, I will catch you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!